Hey everybody, this is TechNolli. Well, today we've got a Z170X. This is the Gigabyte, the UD3, and we got it Hackintoshed. Okay? Nice board. But look, it's asleep. And the power supply is totally stopped. Everything is off. Now, I go over to the keyboard and I say, okay, wake up. I set it in the BIOS to wake up. Nothing. Okay? Nothing. But watch. Just hit the on-off switch one time and it wakes right up. So, I'll tolerate that. So sleep works on this little guy, kinda, which I'm happy with. But guys, this was OpenCore, and I couldn't get 057 to work, but I got 056. And we're good with that. This, once I switched to 5.6, worked flawlessly. And we're going to show you how to do one of these guys. It's a nice board. And I know a lot of you guys have asked me to do this one. And a channel subscriber sent me his motherboard for me to Hackintosh. So here is his board. But let's get this video done. Alright guys, so here we are on the desktop, and we're going to build this USB stick for this Gigabyte Z170X UD3. And this may work for your Z170. You could give it a try. You know, so many of these motherboards, they can have just one or two little quirks that are different. And to get it to work, and BIOS settings. So sometimes, you know, it's not just cut and dry. And that's why we're trying to do as many different motherboards as we can, so you guys have a selection of different boards to, you know, buy. So what we needed for this was we needed OpenCore 0.5.6. We need Mount EFI. We need proper tree. This Gen SM BIOS is to change our serial numbers. And we need Mac IASL to build a couple of SSD Ts. And then these drivers right here, we need in addition to the drivers that we get on the OpenCore. And of course, we need these particular KEXT. This has an Intel Ethernet on it, so we're going to use Intel Mousy Ethernet KEXT. And everything else is pretty much standard. So let's get started. We've got our USB stick right here. We've already got it vanillaed, and we built that with my video that's up here in the description. It'll pop up, and that'll direct you over to how to make a USB vanilla installer. Okay, so now that we've got that, we're going to start with Mount EFI, and the reason we have to use this is because we need to see the EFI hidden partition on this USB stick. That's where the magic happens. So what we'll do is right click on Mount EFI.command and open. All right. And then we want to choose right now our USB stick, and that is number 3 right here. It says install macOS Catalina right there. Install macOS Catalina. So I'm going to press 3, put in my password, and right there, this EFI hidden partition came up. All right. So let's go out of here. We don't need this for right now. And this is where we have to start building our EFI folder. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to go over to OpenCore, and we're just going to drag this EFI folder into here. Then double click on the folder and go under OC, and we're going to grab another file under docs, and that is the sample plist, and just drop it into here. All right, so we're done with this for now. Now let's rename this to config.plist. All right, we're done with that. Go in here to the tools folder and just move all this to the trash. Okay? All right. So now we look here under ACPI and there's nothing there. Drivers has these files in it, and we only need one from here, and that is FW Runtime Services. So I'm just going to get rid of these other ones. Trash. And then while I'm right here, I'm going to grab these two drivers that I'm going to need. I'm going to grab those, copy and paste. Okay, I'm done with that. Close that out. We're done with drivers. Now let's go under Kext, because we have nothing here. We need to grab these Kext, and these will work for our motherboard. Copy and paste. All right, you with me so far? Perfect. Okay, now let's go over to the OpenCore website. And by the way, guys, they moved it. So if you type in now OpenCore, it's going to take you to the old site, and we just click here and then click here, and it takes you to the new site. And we need to start bookmarking this, don't we? So this is a Skylake. So we're going to go under Intel Config plist right here, and we're going to choose Skylake. Okay? So let's move this over here, and then we need to go ahead and build our SSD Ts to put under ACPI. So we'll go over here, and the first thing we come to is ACPI, and we're going to need two SSD Ts. We're going to need SSD T-plug and SSD T-EC-USB-X. So let's open up our Mac IASL, and see, when you open it the first time, you have to right click and open, and then open again. All right, there it is. Go up here and go File New, and we can close this one out. All right, we'll click here, and we want to go to RAW right here. And let me scoot that over a little bit, make this a little smaller. There we go. And just select all and copy and paste it into here. Now, let's go back out of here. And this is called SSDT-plug. So we'll go over here and we'll do a save as SSDT-plug. Really important, guys. Let's choose the desktop, and the file format has to be changed to ACPI. Okay, so we'll click on here and save it. All right, then we can just grab all that and just get rid of it. And we're going to go back over here to this SSDT that we have to compile. Click RAW and grab all of it, copy, and we will paste it in here. All right, and this one is called right here. So we'll save as SSDT-EC-USB-X. All right, we're going to save it to the desktop, and of course our file format stays the same. We save it. All right, so that's it for this one. We can go ahead and close out of this file, or this little program. Okay, so we've got nothing in here, but we're going to grab these two guys right here and put them into our ACPI folder. All right, so we're moving along here. We've got all of these folders completed, and now we have to configure our config.plist. So in order to do that, we have to use a little cute program called propertree. So it's going to be in all of these files you're going to download on my website. So we'll click on here, right click on propertree.command, and it'll open up. And then what we want to do is we want to go File, Open, and we want to go to the EFI partition. which is our memory stick, and then EFI folder, OC, and config.plist, and open it up. So this is what's inside that config.plist to get started with. Let's go ahead and remove these warnings. It won't really affect anything, but still we like to get rid of them, right? Just to have a cleaner looking config.plist. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to inject all of those files right here that we just put in, our drivers, our ACPI SSD Ts, and our KEX. They all need to be injected into this one right here. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to go up to File and do OC Snapshot. Okay? Then click on EFI Partition, EFI Folder, and OC, and click on Choose. Now see, it just made a bunch of changes. Now, a friend of mine told me a secret. Marcus said to go up here and do OC Clean Snapshot. The same place, OC, and choose, and it just turned on all of our SSD Ts. Cool tip. Appreciate that. All right, so let's go ahead. We're done with the SSD Ts. Let's go ahead and move on down to the Quirks. All right, so we've got ACPI here, and we're going to just scoot on down here to Quirks. Notice everything is false or no. So no equals false, yes equals true. So all of these are supposed to be set to false, and they are by default. So let's go to Booter, and we want to go to the Quirks on Booter and verify these. Now this guide is 0.5.7, so there'll be a couple of little things that are not going to show up on both of these different config.plist, but it's going to be close, and I'll show you which ones we need to change. So avoid runtime defrag, yes, and then all of these are no until we get to enable safe mode slide right here, and it is true. And enable write unprotector is supposed to be true, and it is. And we'll go down here till we get to provide custom slide, and that is right here, and it is true. And rebuild Apple. If you look here, you won't see it, so we're just going to ignore it, okay? Set virtual map right here. We want to turn it to true. Okay? All right, let's keep going. And then down here, again, we have sync runtime permissions. It's not on here, so we're not going to worry about it. Everything else is set up fine, and it's going to work. So device properties, if you were going to drive a monitor or a display with the onboard graphics, then you would want to choose this text right here to go in right here. Okay? But we're using a graphics card, and most of you guys would be using a graphics card because this is a pretty powerful motherboard, so we're going to ignore that. But that's where you would inject that text to get your onboard Intel graphics working. And there's some other things that you may need to do if it doesn't work. So read carefully if you're going to try. All right, so we've got kernel. That's next right here, kernel. And we want to go down to Quirks again. All right, that's where all the magic happens. So we'll go down here to Quirks. All right, so this first one needs to be true. The second one needs to be true. All right, and then all of these are no, 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 until we get to disable low mapper. All right, and that needs to be true. And we're good on all of these settings because I've tested it until we get down here to panic no kex dump. And that needs to be true. And then power timeout needs to be true. And our XHCI port limit needs to be true. All right, we're good. Let's keep on moving. So we've got miscellaneous here. So let's go down here. All of these settings are leave everything as default, are fine the way they are until we get down to debug right here, debug. All right, so Apple debug is not there, so we're going to ignore it. But disable watchdog is, and it needs to be set to true. And then right here, target, need to change this to 6.7. And everything else is fine. All right, let's go down here to these security. Allow NVRAM reset needs to be true. Allow set default needs to be true. Everything else is good until we get to scan policy right here. Scan policy needs to be 0. And then right here, vault needs to be set to optional. Perfect. All right, NVRAM. So we're done with that. NVRAM right here. Everything is fine by default until we get to our boot arguments, which is right here, Bootargs. So I'm going to double click on that. Put a space bar between each argument, okay? So I'm going to grab this debug and put it in here. Paste it in, put a space. And we're going to add ALCID equals 1 right there too. All right, and then enter, and we're done. Now this NVIDIA driver, we can go ahead and get rid of this line, and we can just remove it. That is if you were trying to use an NVIDIA graphics card, which right now, because all the downloads for High Sierra are version 17G66, and I have yet to be able to find a web driver that works for that. If you guys know a magic place to find it, I would love to know where it is. Then we could try to get some of these NVIDIA graphics to work. But right now, haven't been able to. All right, right here, guys, we need to set our language that we want to use right here. I'm going to set mine to English, and that is right here, preferred language keyboard. And I'm going to double click on this. This is the English version. And then if you click on Apple keyboard layouts, it will show you other languages. Then you just put that into there. And that's done in English now. Okay, all of this stuff is fine until we get down to write flash, which is over here. Write flash needs to be set to true. Platform info. All right, this is pretty important stuff because it's not set right. Our system product name needs to be iMac 17, comma, and hit enter. That's the best setting for this particular Skylake setup. And it worked for me, so I'm happy. All right, so we'll go on down to the bottom. All of this stuff is fine. This right here, this is your board number, MLB is your board serial number. This is your system serial number right here, and UUID. And we're going to change those numbers at the end using our little program right here, Gen SM BIOS Master. All right. So that's so we can try to get iServices to work. So here's UEFI, and we're going to go down to the bottom where it says Quirks right here. Quirks, and we just need to change one. Request boot var fallback needs to be true. All right, guys. So if we go up here, we want to click File and Save. That saves everything we just did. If we don't, then nothing is going to be saved, and you'll have to start over. All right, so we'll go out of here, and we're going to get into the BIOS on here and see if it's anything strange. It shouldn't be, but we're going to check it out and show you how to set up the BIOS. All right, here we go. Okay, just like all of them, we hit the delete key to get into the BIOS. All right, here we go. So everything on this MIT screen is fine. We didn't have to change, or I didn't have to change anything here to get anything to work. Everything was fine by default. So what we're going to do is go over to BIOS features, and we're going to check all of this out. And we want to make sure that security option is set to system, and then fast boot is disabled, and Windows 8/10 features are here and not on other OS. So just put it on Windows 8/10, and network stack is turned off. Let's go over to peripherals. So we want everything to look just like this. We're using a graphics card in PCIe 1 slot. Right here, legacy support is enabled. Handoff is enabled. Port 6064 is disabled. Of course, our USB storage driver is supported. We've got that enabled. And that's fine the way it is. Right here, there's nothing to change. Trusted computing, there's nothing to change. Super I/O, we have to disable that serial port, okay? And then Intel BIOS guard is disabled. SATA configuration, just like it is here, guys. Of course, we're going to enable it and make sure it's set to AHCI. The graphics output is fine where it is set. And there's nothing to change under the Ethernet connection. Let's go over to chipset. VTD is disabled, and it needs to be. Internal graphics is disabled. Audio controller is turned on, and the LAN is turned on. All four of these are enabled. Okay. Power management, as you saw in the beginning of the video, it didn't work, but it worked just hitting the button. So that was kind of nice. So we'll leave it like that, and we go over here, save and exit setup. Make sure you have your USB stick in there because we're going to go ahead and try to boot this thing. All right, here we go. Okay, we'll come up here. We'll press the F12 key because I got other hard drives hooked up to this thing that I don't want to erase, so I want to make sure that I am booting from my SanDisk USB. So we'll hit enter. And then we'll go over here to the picker menu. And we want to choose number 3 on my screen. If yours is different, it may be, but you definitely want to choose Install macOS Catalina External, which is the external USB. Hit enter. And here it goes. Let's get this installed. Okay, guys. When this comes up to the format screen, we'll come back. And it does get stuck on a couple of lines, guys, but nothing serious. Nothing more than like 10 seconds, maybe. All right. Once we get to this screen, we're feeling pretty good. So let's go to Disk Utility, click Continue. Do not forget to click right here. Show all devices. Big mistake by a lot of guys out there. You just forget to do that, and then you don't see the names of your devices. See, if you just have show only volumes, you don't see the name of your hard drive. Okay, we need to be at the root of our drives. Okay, this is the one I'm going to erase. And so we click erase, name it whatever you want. I'm going to call it Z170X UD3. All right. And then we want to choose for format APFS, and we definitely want GUID partition map, and click erase. That goes nice and fast. we're done with that. Just click out of here, install macOS, continue, continue, agree and agree. Now, this is the one I just formatted, the UD3, so I'm going to choose that drive. All right, and it says about 3 minutes remaining. This is pretty quick. It'll get down to like 2 minutes and it'll reboot. And then we'll go from there. Okay, guys, on this one it jumps up to 5 minutes remaining, and that's fine, and that's pretty normal. And it will slowly get down to like about right here. It'll be like 2 minutes remaining, and it'll just reboot, and you'll think, oh my God, what happened? But it's supposed to do that, so we're good. All right, we'll come back. Okay, guys, 3 minutes remaining. Up. Didn't even get to 2 minutes. So there it goes. Now we're going to come back up to the picker. Just leave your USB stick in there because we still need to boot from it a couple of times. And we're going to choose Mac OS Installer, which is now our hard drive. Okay, so we'll click on that, and it's going to continue the installation, much quicker this time. And it'll come up to the Apple logo again, and it'll take a little bit of time to get through, but it'll make it. All right. Gets through that pretty quick. Gets through that screen pretty quick. Okay, it's going to come up here, and it's going to say there's like 12 minutes remaining, something like that. And this needs to reboot. Whoa, different than our other builds, isn't it? So it gets to 12 minutes remaining and then just reboots. But it's okay. It'll come back up. We still need to choose our Mac OS installer. All right. So it'll go through here again. All right. So it'll get up here with the Apple logo one more time. And you see how fast that goes across? But it'll slow down because now it needs to go completely across the screen. That line needs to go completely across to finish up. So when it gets down closer to the end, we'll come back. Okay, guys, about 7 minutes remaining. And I wanted to take this time to say, this is the time to subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get notified when I come out with these videos on these different boards and different systems. We've got a lot of system builds coming up here real soon that channel subscribers have asked me to take care of them for them. So, and also, guys, if you've got a motherboard that you can't get it working, you can't get it hacked or anything, send it to me. I don't charge you anything right now. I'm not charging anybody to, hack the board. I send it back to you, and you'll be ready to go. Put it in your case. If you send in your USB stick with it, then you'll have a backup of the macOS install in case you ever need to reinstall. So feel free to get a hold of me on my contact page on my website. All right, so we're going to get down here, and it's going to reboot. So hold on. Less than a minute remaining. Let's see what happens. There it goes. One more reboot, guys. One more reboot, and we are done with this puppy. Okay, we're going to come back up to the booter. Now we see my hard drive that I named, the Z170X UD3. Hit enter on that. Let's finish up this install. All right. There goes my GPU fans. They always do that on the last boot. All right. So let's go down here and choose our country. Continue, continue, continue. I don't want to transfer anything. I have my Ethernet cable plugged in, so it's going to come up here, guys, and ask me, do I want to sign into Apple? No way. If I do it now, I'll never get iServices to work. So set up later and skip it. Agree and agree. Go ahead and give it a name and put in a password. All right, change your little icon here if you want. Da-la-la. Get whatever you want. Okay, there's a little parakeet. That's cute. Continue. And customize. I want location services, but I don't care about analytics, so take that off. Continue. And we'll set that up later. Sure, we'll turn on Siri. And we can choose whatever mode we want. So we'll go with dark mode. I think everybody likes dark mode better. What do you guys think? Tell it what kind of keyboard you have. I have just a simple little Logitech Windows keyboard. Okay, so we go up here to the Apple about this Mac. There's my graphics card. Everything is showing up properly. Got 16 gigabytes in this puppy right now. This is my hard disk. So we're good. We've got transparent bar down here, so we definitely have high def. We've got internet. That's working. We can go over here to YouTube. And I think they only have one channel over there. I think it's called TechNolli. Let me check. I'm not sure. Yep. Yep, there it is. There it is. All right. So let's go over here to System Preferences. And here's our energy saver. Now, like I said on this one, you can set this to whatever you want. And then to wake it back up, you just press the on-off button just one time real quick, and she lights back up. All right, we'll go over here to sound. And there we've got everything. It's working. I can hear it. I don't know if you can, but I can. I'm going to show the volume speaker up there, or the volume control. Here's my different outputs. Here's my inputs. And that's it, guys. I mean, really, it works. It works nice. Didn't have any failures with this. Now, we just have one final thing to do. I've got my other USB stick here with my mount EFI on it, because we have to mount our EFI partitions on our USB and our hard drive so we can copy it over to our hard drive. We have to have the EFI folder from our EFI partition into the EFI partition on the hard drive. So we're going to need mounter. And what else? We're going to change the serial number for this gentleman. And I think that's all we need. So we'll close out of here. We're going to use EFI mounter to mount our EFI partitions. Right click and open. All right. And so right here is my USB stick. So I'm going to press number 1, hit enter, put in my password. And right here is my EFI partition. Okay, then I'm going to press number 6, which is my hard drive. Okay, and now if I go to the computer, you'll see the EFI partition on the hard drive, but there's nothing in it. Okay, so we're going to grab this one and put it into our hard drive and replace it. Now we can boot the computer without the USB stick. Okay, Now while we're here, let's go ahead and change the serial numbers on this so we have a chance of getting our iMessages to work. Now on the OpenCore website, there are directions on how to get iServices to work. So if after you change your serial number and you still can't get it to work properly, go over to the OpenCore website, and on the left-hand column you'll see iServices, fix iServices, and it will explain to you a lot more detail what you need to do to get it to work. So let's right-click and open gensmbios.command. All right, and get this out of the way so you don't get confused. First of all, we want to hit number 1 to install and update, and then enter when done. And then we have to select our config.plist. So we'll click on number 2 and hit enter. Now it wants to know, this program wants to know, where is your config.plist? Well, I just put it on the hard drive. So I'm going to go over here to the computer, and here is my EFI partition on my hard drive. Here is the folder, here's OC, and then under here is where the config.plist is. So we just drag this into here. Now it knows where it is. And hit enter. Then press number 3 to put in the serial number, but we have one last step to do. If you'll remember, we named this computer iMac 17,1. That was the system product name in the config.plist. So we have to put that in here and then hit enter, and it just injected the serial number, the board number, and the UUID number into the config.plist for us. So that's it. We're done. We're done with this one. It turned out really nice. It's working good. Nice and fast. So remember, guys, if you've got a system, if you've got a motherboard, even if you have a laptop you want me to Hackintosh, then just contact me on my webpage and we'll talk about it and see what we can get done for you, but we'll get it Hackintoshed. All right? Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.